Hi all, it's Joe Value here for Cold Beer Sports with tomorrow's selections. But just before I give you tomorrow's horses, I just want to touch on today's selection, which was Thilste Do Nicely, which won very nicely, thankfully. Unfortunately, there was a few non-runners, which didn't help, getting the deduction from the bookmakers when that happens, which is only fair, I suppose. But it's just unfortunate for us because I'd say whichever horses ran in that race, there would have been only one result anyway. Thistle Do Nicely. He won very well. He jumped pretty well, except for the fourth last. He ploughed through that, and he had a good look at the time, the previous circuit as well. But he won well, won very well, won by nearly 10 lengths, I think, in the end. So you'll take that every day, I suppose. Um, would I be going after him again when he steps up in grade now after winning? I doubt it, to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to be as good over fences as he was over hurdles. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh on him. He's still a novice after all. But it's just Worcester. The fences are very, very easy. You can brush through them and you'll get away with it. Whereas if that was a Cheltenham or an Aintree or a Warwick or somewhere like that, he'd lose more ground with a bad mistake. So he's just want to tread carefully, but I think moving forward. But he done us a nice turn today. He's a nice horse for connections, and I'm sure he'll pay his way throughout the summer. Good ground being important to him and all that. But going on to tomorrow, then I've two kind of bits of chances, and then there's one I think strong enough selection. So we'll start off with the first of the selections anyway in the 255 horse called Scontanovsky. Now this is a bit of a stab in the dark because he's running over 5 furlongs for the very first time, running an advisor for the very first time. But I've no real doubt that he probably has more ability than any other horse in this race. He first came to my attention when he ran in first last one day, over 6 furlongs. And Martin Dwyer rode him, and he got to the front very comfortably, and he kind of kicked on a long way from home. Just got worn down late on by one of Alan King's horses, decent horse. Name escapes me now. Tritonic, actually, that was the name of him. Yeah. So that was a good run, and Connections presumably thought that he needed further, so they kept stepping him up and trip, and the horse just kept disappointing. He actually ran over a mile and two one day, I think, and he just he struggled. But I thought it was just very interesting, dropping hugely now back in trip, 5 furlongs around Wolverhampton, drawn one. It's it's eye catching, I thought. But if he misses the break now, I was still one. He's probably cooked, because some people think, like, with horses going back down so much in trip, that it takes a while for them to get used to be a sprinter. They almost have to learn how to sprint properly, which is fair enough. So he's around 10-1. So I think I'm just going to have a 1 point win on him at 10-1. If he breaks well and gets to the front early, I'm sure he'll go very, very short and running, because he would have more ability than any of these. It's a weak race, It's a weak race tomorrow. So in the 245, Scontanovsky, he's just a small wee dabble at 10-1. Okay, moving on then, the 455 will be my next selection, and this is my main bet of tomorrow. It's Gavin Cromwell trained horse. James O'Sullivan, very promising young jockey, claiming 2. It's for the boys race, so he can't get his full claim. But Dakota Beat is the name of it. It's around 2-1. I thought this horse was going to be a good horse when he won his bumper and Hexham very, very easily, and he's ran some good races over hurdles. He ran well against Politicise one day around Kilbeggan. I think he was only beaten around 6 or 7 lengths or something like that. I haven't tried to make all, but Politicise is a fair horse on his day, and so that was no disgrace. He's been a bit in and out since now, I have to say. He's been a shade disappointing, but I thought his last run at Perth looked to me where he was coming back to a bit of form, and there's no one better at placing his horses than Gavin Cromwell. He's a brilliant trainer as well, as we know, but he's very good at placing his horses, and this seems a good fit for him. He should take plenty of beating. You'd imagine if he didn't win tomorrow, they're going to struggle to win a maiden hurdle with him. They might win, a handicap hurdle or something like that with him, but this looks a weak, for Ireland standards, this looks a weak maiden hurdle. And around 2-1, I think he's worth a 4-point win selection. Yeah, probably you couldn't go all in on him either because he has been disappointed in the past, but he's more than enough ability, I think, to win a race of this caliber. So that's my second selection. Dakota Beat. He runs in the 4:55 at Roscommon. So my third and final selection. Now this is a bit of leap of faith as well. This the name of this one is Fate Laval. She's 7-1. That's the only one of the main reasons why I'm tipping her up. She looks very quirky. One day in Clonmel, she looked like a very good, very nice, promising young filly. She got to the front in a decent maiden, turning in, absolutely hacking. And they looked all over. She went down by 2 or 3 lengths, and then she started staring up at the stands and all this kind of crack. And she nearly stopped to a walk. So she's one to tread carefully with. She has been a little bit disappointing since that. But again, Gavin Cromwell, he's very good at placing his horses. And Maxine O'Sullivan takes the ride, who is excellent value for her £5. She looked well in any race. So I think Fate Duval at around 6 or 7 to 1 will go a 1 point win. You know, she really fancies it and gets her head down and races when she really has to towards the end of the race. She could win. But like that, you have to tread a little bit carefully. So, you know, the Cote Beat the main bet of the day, around 2 to 1. I'd be disappointed if he didn't win. And the other two just have chances, that's all. So whatever you're doing, play safe, bet safe, enjoy the sport. And I will talk to you tomorrow with hopefully a few more winners. Thank you. Bye-bye.